But I think we have a very special guest, the Steel Secretary, with us, Nigel.
Well, that's right. Let's get chatting with Mr. Sandeep Poundrik, the Secretary, Ministry of Steel, who joins us on the show. Hi, sir. Good morning. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks a lot for speaking to us yet again on CNBC-TV18. Let's get a couple of clarifications first out of the way. You have put the safeguard duty at around 12%. Various unconfirmed reports suggest that because of the turmoil that's taking place in the globe and various, trade uncertainties that are taking place, the Steel Ministry is considering hiking this from around 12%. Could you clarify if there's any truth or not?
No, I don't think so, because as you know that this is a process in which DGTR makes recommendations based on its investigation. So DGTR is conducting its final investigation. They are likely to conclude it by August. They have time till August to conclude the investigation. As you know that the safeguard duty which has been imposed right now is provisional for 200 days. So DGTR will give its final recommendations based on whatever is the current status, whatever is the industry saying, whatever other stakeholders are saying. And then based on that recommendation of DGTR, government will take a call. So as of now, I would not like to hazard a guess on whether the safeguard duty will be higher, lower, same. It will all depend on DGTR's recommendations.
But is there a proposal, sir, from the industry itself that they want more than 12%?
I think so, that the industry is approaching, as I said.
And is that being considered, sir, because
DGTR.
The industry... Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that the industry actually places their whatever they are saying before the DGTR, not before us. DGTR is the right authority who considers all. So industry is approaching them with whatever they are asking for, including raising the safeguard duty. And DGTR will look into all aspects. We also have to see that the steel prices have to be balanced with consumer goods prices. So DGTR will take that into account, including the international situation, the domestic situation, and then it will make its recommendations. So as of now, I can't comment on whether it will go up higher, lower. It will all depend on DGTR's recommendations.
I'm sure many of those participants are listening to you and they're saying, please don't talk about lower. At least higher is something that will be acceptable. But in the past, when we chatted, at that point of time we had ruled out any kind of increase from 12%. Now we'll have to wait by to see what is the final take on that front. But you also said you're plugging various loopholes with regard to people who are importing steel. What's the progress on that front, and any concrete measures you're looking at?
Yeah, so basically what we have seen that there are various ways of importing steel. So one is through BIS licenses, where the steel has BIS standards. Steel can be imported based on a license. Then there are some other options where there are no standards. So what we have found is that in certain cases, which have come to our knowledge, people have misused the provisions by, say, one company has a license, so multiple people have supplied steel based on that license. That has been confirmed in the investigation, and we are taking action, legal action, including recommending to BIS to cancel the license. We have also seen that in the SIMS portal, people are trying to misuse the NOCs by trying to import different grades from which NOC was granted, or for using the same documents for importing multiple consignments of steel. So all those loopholes are being plugged in.
Okay.
What I can say is that people can import steel if there is a BIS license if there is a QCO, and if the company who is exporting to India has a BIS license, then it can be done. Apart from that, there is a small window of NOC, but we are trying to stop misuse of provisions or irregular import. That we are trying to do.
All right, and it appears you'll have been fairly successful actually, because if I look at the imports for the last 2 months at least, imports have come down, and this is in the backdrop of Chinese exports moving up. That factor is heartening because Chinese exports have continued at a very, very strong pace in the last few months, and in spite of that, India is relatively protected. Do you think that peak imports into India, well, that is more or less now we have our measures in place and peak imports are behind us? And also give us a word on domestic demand. The last time around, you were talking about double-digit steel demand in this year. Stick to that?
Yeah, so on the import side, so there are like 2-3 kind of imports, as I said earlier. One is where the particular steel is not available inter-country, some specialty steels grades. So that's all right because those are not available. Second is based on lower price or dumping. That what the government has tried to discourage by imposing safeguard duty. I think that we have controlled to a large extent now. Based on the 2 months data of April and May, the total steel imports are much lower as compared to what they were in the last year. And if this trajectory continues, I think the steel imports will be about 50% lower than last year, if not more. So that's on the price sensitive or imports based on pricing. There is a third category where some companies who have vertical integration with steel plants in their own countries, in the countries of origin, that I think will continue in spite of safeguard duty because they have a vertical integration, but that's a smaller part of the overall basket. So steel imports, I think the government's imposition of safeguard duty and other measures have controlled what we don't want, that the cheaper and lower quality steels to be imported into the country. That the government has been successful in that. On the consumption side, I think we are the only major economy who is clocking double-digit growth, and as you know, that last 3 years we have been clocking about 12% growth. So that's nowhere else in the world when the world steel growth is much lower, about 0.5%, 1%. So India is a bright spot in the steel consumption scenario, and government's push on infrastructure, the private sector growth in real estate, buildings, the growth of the economy. One important thing I would like to point out is that the per capita consumption. Now we are at 104 kg per capita, and this is a inflection point in my opinion, because now our population is stabilizing and our GDP is growing. So I think the per capita will now increase much faster, and same is for GDP to steel consumption growth elasticity. If you see the figures, for last 3 years, the elasticity has been somewhere around 1.7 to 1.8, while earlier it used to be around 1. So I think both these factors, greater elasticity of steel as compared to GDP, and much faster growth of per capita. So the consumption, I think India is going to be okay, or rather good in consumption scenario.
So from 104 kgs, where do you see it headed, the steel per capita consumption? A longer term time horizon.
If you see so if you see in this particular year, 24-25, we increased by 7 kgs. We were 97, we approached about 104. My opinion is that in 2030 or so that's about 6 years from now, 5-6 years from now, we should be somewhere around 155, 160, and by 2035 we should be around world average of about 200 plus. In next 10 years we should reach the world average.
All right.
35, 36.
All right, Mr. Poundrik, you've given us a fair idea about how you see the industry shape up. Let's get a couple of company-specific things out of the way. You're sounding optimistic on consumption. You believe that the worst in terms of imports are behind as well. Good time to see a sale OFS? Is that on the cards?
Sorry, I did not get the question.
Sale. Steel Authority of India. Do you think that, the ministry believes that this could be a good time, or have you heard anything with regard to the government's intent to do an OFS in the listed company sale?
I don't want to comment on this at this point of time. Sale is doing well.
Yes.
Overall, if you see the 24-25 performance, sale has done well as compared to the sector.
Absolutely agree with you, sir. Mr. Poundrik, absolutely agree. Right. If you look at their debt reduction, the working capital, everything looked much better for sale, particularly towards the end of the year. So do you think it's a good time for an OFS? Have you heard anything on that front?
No, not from sale or not from in the ministry for now.
All right. What about the turnaround strategy for RINL? How much of money have you all already spent? How much of more money will you all spend? And what is the end goal with regard to RINL? Will SAIL have to buy it? Will you have to do an IPO? Or will it merge into some other entity?
So for now, RINL till now has been a success. I would put that in the success category till now. In September, it was on the verge of closure. Now in May, they are running 2 blast furnaces above 100%. They have become cash positive for last 3-4 months. They are planning to start the third blast furnace in this month. So I anticipate that by next 3 months, they will start generating sufficient surplus to meet their liabilities. We are also expecting that they will pay back much of their liabilities in next 6 months on the private sector side. On the bank side, they have paid some part of their liabilities, and the loans they have lowered their interest rates. The banks have lowered their interest rate. So RINL is doing well for now. They have also reduced their manpower, regular through VRS as well as contractual. So they are reducing their fixed costs. I'm sure that they are on the right path. About the merger or any other thing, for now it is that the government decision is to keep RINL as a going concern. So there is no proposal merger with the sale or any other thing for now on the table.
All right. No, got that. Sir, good morning. Prashant here. I just had a non-steel question. I know this is now not directly under your purview. But on this entire rare earth issue, sir, anything you can tell us? What's the government thinking? What is, we reported, for example, that the government is working with players to get those licenses cleared for imports. What can you tell us, sir, in terms of the latest?
You said correctly, it's not our issue. It's not Steel Ministry issue. The only thing I can say is that our companies are also trying to look into the rare earth issue, whether they can get some technologies or some invest something to get those things. So that's all from our side. Means our companies are exploring that. But on the policy side, I would not like to comment anything on that.
Got it. Just to wrap things up, we go back to steel itself. What's the progress with the Karnataka government to rationalize the proposed hike in duties? The last time you said you are in talks with them. What's the update here, sir?
So I think the companies are still talking with them. The issue is still under discussion. Nothing has been.
By when can we hear clarity?
Because I can't really say, because that's a complicated issue. We are still under discussion on that.
Just to, Mr. Poundrik, just one last on that rare earth thing. When you said You said government companies are being, there's looking to kind of see if we can have technology tie-ups to do processing here in India. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Though one of our companies is trying to just look into the thing, whether government companies, whether that's where they can invest, or so that's still in the exploration stage of looking at the technologies, looking at the investments.
Okay.
So that's all what steel ministry or steel
enough.
companies are.
Which company? Which company? Yeah, absolutely. At a broader level, which company is this?
I would, I would not like.
Okay.
Right. That still means still under. So I would not like to name the company, but one or two of our companies are looking at the issues.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in and giving us an entire outlook on the sector and throwing some light on the rare earth piece as well. But